a show that tackles the big issues affecting the BVI and the rest of the Caribbean. Searches for answers to today's big questions and gives viewers a unique perspective on developing stories. Follow the big story with me, Kathy Richards, only on JTV. This show is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon Spa Nail and Barbershop, the Wellness Center, Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Ticely Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies, and sports. Meteorologists are saying brace for a hyperactive second half of the 2023 hurricane season. On this edition of The Big Story, what the Department of Disaster Management here in the Virgin Islands is saying to us.
Good afternoon. Name is Jason Penn, Director of Disaster Management. Thank you for having me, Kathy, to give this update. In terms of the information that we've gotten recently, at least through the National Hurricane Center, they have now increased the normal to above normal that they were predicting for the season. And that's because when you look at the sea surface temperatures, or the temperature on a whole, it's been very hot for the last few months. Actually, the WMO indicated that July gone was more or less the highest or the warmest they've recorded in history. And as you can see, the temperatures around here in the Virgin Islands are pretty hot. Ocean temperatures are pretty warm as well. And what the National Hurricane Center and forecasters are alluding to is that this increase in these temperatures and the warming of these sea surface temperatures, although we're experiencing the effects of an El Nino and still some Saharan dust here and there, they do feel that this increased temperature of the oceans will sort of counteract or sort of bring the season to an above normal, which then would mean we'll see an increase in terms of tropical cyclone development and activity. They've now moved the storms more or less to 21 named storms, 6 to 11 hurricanes, 2 to 5 major hurricanes, and again they are looking at I would say above normal season to the terms of maybe 60%. So from that indication alone, we can see that there's a possibility going in to the middle or the latter part of the Atlantic hurricane season. We can see an increase in potential tropical cyclone development. Now, with that being said, there's a number of different things that were ongoing leading up to this. We would have put out a shelter listing that has been published. So persons, now is the time to take a chance and review to see where the shelters are located. We would have also put out the marine shelter listing as well. Persons can review that. You would have seen that we would have produced a number of different releases in terms of some of the training that we've had here within the department, as well as out towards the sister islands. We would have had a number of different preparedness engagement activities with the public and private sector. We had a community event in one of our communities in East End. We would have had an event as well, a preparedness event at the Tartola Pier Park. And the previous months, I would have done a number of different engagements where giving updates like I'm giving now to the public. And I'm also using this platform and this opportunity to encourage persons to, if you have not prepared, to expedite the process in doing so. I would also indicate to them that if there is a plan, now is the time for them to review that plan again, see what needs to be updated within the particular grab bag kits, if they also need to identify not just the shelters that are being provided, but if they have family members or friends that they may be more comfortable in staying with. Now is the time is to reach out and see what arrangements they could have in place in terms of the sheltering, and also ensuring that they have their emergency supplies, and again checking their homes. And you would have seen that there are a number of drains that the at least the public works department would have cleared earlier, and then now clearing them again. So that there's activity that's ongoing. We got this updated information, and I'm just encouraging persons to do their part and try and prepare as best that they can as we go down into the latter part of the season.
Okay, we're made up of four major islands. There's Van Dyke, Anegada, Virgin Gorda, and Tortola. The dynamics in preparedness among these four.
Well, with each of the islands, we have particular communities or particular blocks of persons that have ways that they go about and prepare. You would have seen where Virgin Gorda, being a very active community, we would have had a number of different training events with them. They would have also have a number of different stakeholders meetings, private and public, in terms of the preparedness that they would do on Virgin Gorda. We would have also, worked through the Sister Island coordinator to speak to the other communities, such as the Anegada community. They would have highlighted some of what they would have needed in order to help assist them in terms of preparations and so forth. I know that a number of new shelters has been added, which should also help to that community as well. Moving towards Jost Van Dyke, there's still quite a bit that's ongoing to help them.
The Are there shelters there?
There is, I would say that there is a shelter that's on Jost Van Dyke. There are also other, I think, public-private partnerships in terms of using other methods to help people to shelter. Worst case scenario as well. If there needs be, there will be arrangements that would be made to maybe assist and get persons off of the island, at least those who would want to come off and maybe come across and use the shelters here. We would have seen earlier this year the development of the school for the Jost Van Dyke area. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be available for this season, but if you were to visit Jost Van Dyke, you would see that the superstructure is up. Work is ongoing, and hopefully by the next hurricane season, that particular structure would be available for the use by the community as another means of added preparedness and protection for the individuals on Jost Van Dyke. I should also mention too that besides the sister islands, we also have the private islands as well that have a number of different resorts. And we would have also had an activity with them earlier this year through Area Recovery Group, which would have brought a number of these private islands together to share their whatever preparedness that they have ongoing, and then sort of coming together to pool resources, how they would not only just assist themselves, but if needs be, how they will be able to assist the community as a whole. So I thought I should mention that the other sister islands are also aware. They're taking this very seriously in terms of preparation, and we've had initial conversations and meetings with them also.
Okay, and what is the department saying to the population, given what we would have experienced in 2017, where we were all taken by surprise?
Well, what we've been saying, and I've continued to say, at least since I've been sitting in this seat, it only takes one strong hurricane or system to create devastation, which we would have seen in 2017. So we continue to indicate to persons, yes, 2017 has passed for some time, but we shouldn't get complacent. We should still continue to prepare. We should ensure to test or ensure that we have plans in place, And I would continue to advocate that it's still on the onus of us to try and be prepared as much as we can, ensure that our families are prepared, ensure that our businesses have necessary mechanisms for protection, ensure that we have the necessary mechanisms for protections of our families, or even persons who do not own homes. I'll just segue a bit that this time is not lost, but there's particular insurance. I've mentioned this, I think, a few times. Of your homeowner's home is the one insured, but not your contents. You can see if there's insurance to insure or safeguard your contents if in the event they were lost. That's an avenue. Now would be a time also to don't forget Red Cross, don't forget the Family Support Network, don't forget social development. They have a number of different programs. Now is the time to reach out, see what those programs entail, how soon you would have to register, what is available, what you can receive, what you can't receive. Now is the time to do it when there's peacetime and not wait until you start to see, typically when the Atlantic lights up like a Christmas tree, as we usually say, and watch these storms start barreling towards the west. And in terms of a sense of playing Russian roulette, watching to see where they're going, which we should still monitor, and we will, but at least you'll have a peace of mind knowing that I did everything in my power to ensure that my business, my family, and everyone around me was protected. And we should also not forget that despite persons may not being family and so forth, we have vulnerable persons within our population. And if there's anything that you can do to assist those persons, whether alluding to some authority or directing them in the path or their family members in the path, where they can at least protect them or provide them a chance of survival, let's do that as well. And let's try and look out for each other going forward in this season. So let's try and just help each other as much as possible.
Beautiful. Jason, what should my my preparedness kit look like?
Well, your preparedness kit, of course, you would have at least 3 days supply of water. You try and have food that I would say that does not need that much of preparation. That would also be safe to safeguard you. You should, if you have particular specific documentation that you need to safeguard, passports, birth papers, whatever, have them within some type of plastic container or seal-proof package that would ensure their survival. One of the things we tend to forget: a whistle, shoes. One person indicated maybe still use your mask. Person still requesting and wearing masks, you can also have that as well. And anything in terms of personal hygiene. But the key thing is water and at least some food that can carry you for at least 3 days is essential for having inside of that kit.
And refilling of medications,
yes,
prescriptions.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome, Jason. Thank you so much for this update. And we trust that, while we be prepared, we're not adversely affected.
I trust so as well. And my closing would just be to advocate that we assist each other as much as possible going forward.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year.
Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
We will live well.
Opiate. Hi, I'm Cowboy, and I'm running for president of Steak. Thank you. And I will meet your needs. Some bathrooms are so expensive to build, they come with security. But at Staycation Butchers, our meats are affordable. People always ask me, Cowboy, where does your salmon come from? Well, our salmon comes from the water. A vote for Cowboy is a vote for quality, integrity, and consistency. So come into Staycation Butchers and cast your vote for me, your next president of steak. Alexandra Durant approves this message.
No, I don't.
Plug into Digicel Plus and get even more entertainment with Disney Plus included. The best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic all in one place. Whenever you want, plug into Plus to enjoy Disney Plus and much more with a home fiber bundle. Sign up today. Digicel Plus.